Easy Explain, Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington. Education and helping others. As we're going to see here, these are two huge themes and huge values for him. Let's start by looking at books, the value of books. So Booker T. Washington says, the older I grow, the more I am convinced that there is no education which one can get from books and costly apparatus that is equal to that which can be gotten from contact with great men and women. Instead of studying books so constantly, how I wish that our schools and colleagues might learn to study men and things. So it's not so much that Booker T. Washington is denouncing books. Books are great. But what he thinks we can actually learn more from is just having conversations, talking, getting to know, forming these relationships with people that we consider to be great. Right? Let's just bring in amazing people. Let's bring in these great men, these great women. Let's learn from them. What have they experienced? What can they share from us? I think that's a great tool for education, just learning from other people. Moving on to what Washington says about happiness. He says that those who are happiest are those who do the most for others. Huge value here for Booker T. Help others. Do everything you can. Put others before yourself. He really did that in stepping into the shoes of becoming this leader for the Tuskegee Institute. And he's trying to pass on that value as well, that moral as well. This goes into his value of usefulness as well, which is an extension of his views of happiness too. He says that the happiest individuals are those who do the most to make others useful and happy. Right? So not only should you put yourself before others, make yourself useful, and then you'll be happiest, but once you're in that position, you should be encouraging other people to do the same. Right? That'll make you even happier. If you can influence someone else to make themselves useful, to make themselves happy, that's you being as useful as possible. So that's great. So let's look at what he says here about lifting others up, right? That's going to be the process of doing so. So Booker T says, how often I have wanted to say to white students that they lift themselves up in proportion as they help to lift others. And the more unfortunate the race and the lower in the scale of civilization, the more does one raise one's self by giving the assistance. So, he's really reaching across the aisle here in terms of race. He's trying to do this for his, fellow black students, fellow black learners, but he's like, hey, white students as well, right? You could even benefit more from this if, you're reaching out a hand, you're helping to lift others up and pull others up too. Look at the usefulness that you'll generate, the happiness that you'll generate if you can learn from me in this way too. Then he has a note here too about Frederick Douglass, who, at the time, a couple decades earlier had released the narrative of his life, which was hugely influential, to Booker T. Washington and to countless others. So you had an interesting thing. He quotes Frederick Douglass here in his book. He quotes from Frederick Douglass that Frederick Douglass once says that they cannot degrade Frederick Douglass. The soul that is within me no man can degrade. I am not the one that is being degraded on account of this treatment, but those who are inflicting it upon me. Right, so I was taking this in the context of, these values and these morals that Booker T. Washington is putting out there, that, if you're finding your happiness by making yourself useful, by lifting others up, by showing them how they can do the same, that's how they can find happiness and find usefulness in themselves. Just, start passing that virtue around of how to lift others up. You kind of get to this point by Frederick Douglass that if you're doing everything that you can to find your usefulness and your happiness, right, you will no longer view yourself as being degraded, right? That this mindset that Frederick Douglass has, and Booker T. Washington is quoting him on this, so I really feel like Booker T. is, embodying this and embracing this mentality and this value as well. So, that's an overview of some of the early things that Booker T. Washington says on education, helping others, lifting other people up, finding happiness, finding usefulness. So for now, hope that helps.